friends. This is Kat from Cat Yarns. Alright, so here we are. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I have 7 subscribers at this moment, and I just really appreciate each one of you. I know this is just sort of the start of a long journey, and I don't know where it'll go, but I appreciate having the audience out there to sort of reflect my voice and be able to share what feels like it wants to be shared, which is something I hope we're all working on doing. Here's an update on my sock project. So I made the cuff here, and then I striped some of that, and now we're to the heel flap. So I'm knitting this part, the heel flap, using an eye of partridge stitch, which just gives it some extra reinforcement for the heel part so that it doesn't wear as fast. I wanted to show you, these were socks that I made, my first pair of socks, and I actually spun this yarn myself and 3-plied it. I chain plied it. This was a long time ago, and see, the yarn was quite bulky, still beautiful, and these socks ended up a little bit too small, and you can see I've had to reinforce them, especially in the heel area. That's the first place where they wear out, because it's sort of rubbing against the inside of your shoe. And so that's why I'm trying a new stitch to have it a little bit stronger, and trying something way different in terms of the gauge of the yarn that I'm using. But I'm enjoying the project, and I'm enjoying having something to have at school where I can easily pick it up and use it in the small moments where I need a little reset, or during my lunch hour when I have that time. It's just nice to have a physical project, and I think it's nice to model that as well, that I'm always creating, and we're all creators. So that's update on that. And then what I wanted to talk about today was an update on the paperwhites. I used these in the previous video to introduce the idea of parts of us. I found all 3 of these in a dark box, and they had started sprouting, but sideways, so they were seeking the light, but they were not planted in the soil oriented correctly, but they were still growing towards the light, trying to find it. But they here are still bent over, these 2 of them, whereas this one just shot up. And I realized in looking at it that it requires breaking some of this skin, this protective layer, like an onion, pieces of this bulb. And they are struggling, and I'm not touching them. I'm not going to force them. I see this one is really quite bent up, and it will, in its due time, I'm sure, come up. I called this one Little Cat, and have been sort of thinking about my inner children, and I sort of compile them into one idea of Little Cat, because she responds in all different ways. And it's not true that I compile all of them. There's still others. They wanted me to let you know that. I heard that inside. Wait a minute, we're not all Little Cat, No, I understand. Yeah, and then thinking about this one, my sort of analogy for this one is as like a mid-20s, just feeling like I'm running, So I moved, around that time, I moved from the East Coast, where I grew up, out to the West Coast, and that was after my mom passed away, and that was a whole very traumatic story that took me a very long time to even understand. Never mind process. The processing and the grief comes in layers, and there's always more to do. I miss her a lot, especially around this time of year. That's what I've been hearing a lot in myself. Like, I hear this voice, and I used to hear it all the time. through my 20s and 30s. I miss my mom, and that's what the voice says. And I think that's true for all of us, you know, even whether we've lost our moms or not, we miss our mom. I think that's part of the human experience. Being born separates us from her. And I mean that in both our physical mother sense, the human mother that we have, as well as the earth mother, you know, where our body, all of these materials came from. When we are born, we are separated from her, or at least we are under the illusion of separation, right? It seems like this body has some finite structure and boundaries, and that I'm an individual, but we are figuring out more and more and feeling more and more that, you know, the true nature of us is very connected, and the earth is what holds us all. And so we need to remember her. I just flashed on it. I'm looking at this pin that one of my dear friends gave me, and she has a mother wound that's almost eerily identical to mine. And she gave me this pin that says, "Respect your mother. Respect your mother." And it has a picture of the earth. And respect, right? Again, spect. Think of spectacles, right? To look again at your mother. Look again at her. Look again at her. And appreciate her. This morning when I woke up and in the night, well, first of all, the moon has been shining directly into the window at night, and through the slats of the shades, and I just tilt my head and look, and she's just keeping watch all night, sort of moving, descending in the sky over the time, every time I wake up. We went out last night to see the planets and see them lined up, and I saw Orion's belt. It's very cold here. It was really frosty this morning. That's what I was getting to. That it was so twinkling this morning, and I took a little bit of footage. I don't know, maybe I'll put a little bit here, but it was just gorgeous, just twinkling, twinkling, twinkling. The birds, the hummingbirds that live around here. It's all so beautiful, right? And we need to remember her and respect her and love her. And we need to do that with not just ourselves individually, but collectively, right? As a humanity. The earth will be fine if we end up obliterating ourselves, you know, but we could prevent that if we figured it out, if we remembered the truth of unity and our collective responsibility. We came from one thing, and we will return. And for now, let's figure it out. Figure out how to take care of each other. So there's a lot, and we keep processing, and we keep trying to remember this part of us, right? The wise inner self, the part that is the light, the part that unites us all, right? Whereas, and look from this part at our younger parts and love them. I wanted to start a new canvas and put a prayer out to the world, to all of us here and not here, sort of all of us, right? All of us in this space. I also recognize that these are perfect little drums, and so I kind of want to play with it for a moment and get to know it, put some intentions and energy into it, get into the right space of energy, and think about my intentions. And in fact, I'm going to grab some charcoal because it's a nice thing to actually write words on the canvas as to what you are intending here. And so I'm going to do that. I'm thinking about, it's like when I'm painting, I keep on looking at it. I'm getting this reflection, and I keep judging it. Like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, oh, I shouldn't. What's that color? Ooh, it's like very chattery, right? But I get the chance to be this inner self and look and listen to it and witness myself judging myself over and over, right? And what kind of voice it is, where it's coming from. And I also have to trust the process of painting. Even if I don't like how this looks now, that doesn't mean that's how it will be forever, right? It reminded me of adolescence. That's what I was thinking about. I was just talking about teaching middle school and, thinking about adolescence as a stage of life. It's a very awkward stage because so much is changing and you're very, very self-aware. And you think everybody else is paying such close attention to you. And it's very awkward. You look awkward, you're sort of, you're getting your adult body, and it's a very awkward transition if, you remember yourself. Think about that time. It was very difficult. And that relates to painting in that there's an infancy of just getting some paint on there, but then there's a whole awkward transition phase of where it's trying to figure out who it's going to be and what it's becoming. And when you paint, it's a practice of saying yes and just letting your body take over and it's not even trying to quiet the mind. Like I said, you're paying attention to it, you can hear it gives you an opportunity to really slow down and listen to your thoughts and hear them. That's why, for me, it's a meditative practice. That's the idea of meditation, of witnessing your thoughts, tuning in to your body, listening for the thoughts, listening to what you're feeling so that these parts can express themselves. It's where great ideas come from. It's not just these sort of bent over parts. It's just like, or, maybe they shouldn't be judged for their bent overness. That's the other thing, is everything is beautiful in its expression. So I don't need to judge this painting. Even if it's not for me, it came through me. And I don't have to own it. It's not me, It is something that I extended my hand and allowed me to reflect on some things that I put some intention into, and that I will continue to work on and just sort of refine and see what wants to come through here. So I'm excited to explore that with you. Those were some thoughts about parts, which comes from internal family systems therapy. For me, it certainly saved my life, and I'll tell more about those things. I touched on it a bit here, some of the things that I've been through, but yeah, those are just some thoughts, and I hope that they will serve you well and help you illuminate something for you. Love to hear what resonated in the comments below. I'd also love for you to subscribe to the channel so that you can just sort of stay along for the ride and be a part of the community. I'm hoping to get to know people and have us help each other along the way. That's what we're here to do. So let's come out into the light, be seen, and share what comes through your voice. I'd be interested to hear that, to hear what's true for you. All right, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you all are well. I love you very much, and I mean that. This is Kat. Take care. Bye.